Good afternoon. This lesson today is going to deal with the Spanish Inquisition, a particular topic of interest and controversy that takes place both in the Old World in Europe as well as the New World in the Western Hemisphere. This particular topic and theme is mostly concentrated on world history or modern civilizations from the Renaissance to the contemporary time period. So this would be a sophomore level course, which would require various resources that may be utilized in order to answer some of these key concepts that are going to be very essential. Now, one of the key points about the Inquisition is where it came about, the onset of it, what the causes and effects were. One of the things that's real important is to understand what brought about the Inquisition, right? So the thing that is most important is to realize that the Spanish Inquisition comes about from the reconquest or the reconquista of Spain by the Spanish Catholic rulers. So what you're going to see now is, as a result of this reconquest, the taking back of the homeland by Spanish Ferdinand and Isabella, now you're going to see the ramifications of this Muslim Moorish rule that had, beset the Spanish countryside for the past 800 years. So what happens is a retaliation, I guess you would call it a retaliation phase, whereby anyone who is not a Catholic would be forced to accept Christ as a particular, or not as particular, but as the person, or in this case, a savior for all mankind. Now, what makes this very difficult is for the various peoples that are now still living in 1492 in Spain. So one of the things that's important is to realize that although Spain, northern Spain, remained independent, these Catholic kingdoms are going to now share the rest of the country with various people who have now intermarried, intermingled with these Moors, who are of course Muslims, as well as any other Jews, Sephardic Jews, who have been living within the country and as part of the population as well. So what makes this very interesting is the fact that if we take David Bennington's Christian worldview and how we can talk about Christianity and where we embed this particular topic into it, is the fact that what would a Christian do, right? In this particular topic, we see, Catholics, who of course are Christians, taking obviously a major part of the proceedings that occur. We have Torquemada, who is the chief inquisitor, and of course he's part of the clergy, Catholic clergy, who is going to come and really start creating this major manifesto whereby people are going to be forced to convert or be put to the sword. Now, what makes this very interesting is the fact that the priests and the clergy, and as well as the laity who participated in the Inquisition, they were there to promote Christianity. However, by virtue of all of the various instruments of torture and all the other means that they used of, if you want to call it intimidation, people were intimidated to become, Christians. They were forced to really profess their faith. It's what we would call the auto de fe. Now, one of the things that makes this very important is the fact that we are seeing Christianity overcome these Muslims in Spain. However, rather than show mercy as Christ had, taught us, the Catholic kings and the clergy are actually going to take the opposite effect. They're actually going to go into a different mode. And by doing that, they're going to really attempt to punish anyone who was left from the Moorish Empire, right? So the Reconquista really doesn't really stop in Spain per se, or rather, the effects of the Reconquista don't stop there. What's going to happen now is you will see how the exportation of the Inquisition to the New World will also contribute to the decimation of many of the Native Americans in what becomes known later as Spanish America, Spanish Empire in the New World. What really precludes a lot of these, I guess you would want to call them, I wouldn't say adventures, but what really precludes these um, situations really was that the Christians, the Catholics themselves, were treated, rather poorly by some of these Moors. And while there's indications of that, that have written testimony by people who had survived some of the um, beatings that were given by the Muslims, you really find yourself truly trying to figure out why, instead of using, you know, um, God's word to really, instead of rather than punish and force the Muslims to convert and the Jews to convert, that we did not, when I say we as Christians there in Spain, did not actually just, reach out and try to, become more brotherly, despite, of course, the fact that, things, had been done to the population for an extended period of time. So one of the things that is going to be important is, where does this, conflict come from, or rather, who is going to promote this auto da fe, this Inquisition process? And of course, it comes from the hierarchy of the Catholic Church. They were going to try to root out as many possible Muslims and Jews as well that had already been, they felt, were collaborators. So that is very important, because one of the things that we see is that the Spanish, well, obviously did not like the Jews. There was still that perception back then, and for many centuries later, that Jews, of course, were responsible for Christ's death, and as a result, not only because they were culpable in that situation, but also because they helped the Muslim conquerors really, the administrators administrate and really control the population of Spain, that they were also branded, enemies. So they were branded enemies to the faith as well as enemies of the state. So that makes it a major issue. One of the things that really needs to, transpire here is to understand what the role of religion for the three major religions that are obviously, intermingling here, what the role was in the day-to-day affairs of the average Spaniard. By that I mean, how did the Spanish retain any semblance of freedom, or was there no freedom at all? And what role did Jews play, aside from perhaps financial stewards of, or custodians of, the Moorish kingdom's money? Other roles that the Jewish played there, of course, they were in charge of institutional financial institutions rather, and that becomes a major issue as well, because the majority of the Spanish obviously were very poor. So once the Moorish yoke is taken off, what's going to happen? Well, the people that are going to be blamed for some of the poverty that these Spaniards endured are going to be the Jewish people population. Once again, there's reasons for that as well. So you see anti-Semitism becoming very prevalent. So you don't just see the Moorish or the Muslim being the sole perpetrator of any of the negative aspects of Spanish life. You're also going to see that the Jew is also going to be equally culpable, if not more so, because of the financial situation that that many Spaniards are in. So what's going to happen? Well, of course, once the Inquisition moves towards the New World, you're also going to see how the natives down in Mexico and South America were, obviously considered pagans, and as a result, uh, the clergy wanted to utilize this system, this auto da system, to convert them to Catholicism. Well, if one of the major issues, of course, is that the language barrier becomes very, very important. So whatever gets lost in translation is obviously going to be misinterpreted, or and what that does is it also results in the deaths of many natives throughout all of what becomes known as Latin America. So, what is the major role here? What questions can we pose, or what did we learn from this whole enterprise of the Spanish Inquisition? Well, one of the things that we learn is that sometimes religion, can be used for evil, if you want to put a spin on it, whether it's right or wrong. And other times it's not very easily stated. How do we convert people who are not willing to be converted? Do we choose a theocratic approach to governance per se? And in this case, we obviously know that the Spanish, utilized religion as a means to really subjugate their former masters, that being, of course, the Moor, and his alleged co-conspirator being when I use the word co-conspirator rather loosely, but I guess collaborator would be a better word, the Jew, and have them really being forced to convert. So we see a lot of that, and as a result, many Sephardi Jews who lived in Spain went ahead and migrated to the New World. There are many Sephardi Jews in Mexico who, although, let me rephrase that, many former Sephardi Jews who moved to Mexico, they converted and found established a new life for themselves, which is very important, because at the end of the day, what would you call these people? Would you still consider them Jews, or are they now Christians? I mean, at what point in time do we determine what this particular group of people are? I leave you all with that, posing you some questions. Hopefully you all have interesting comments. Please feel free to do so, and I look forward to your responses. Thank you.